Good morning, everybody, and first of all, a happy new year to all my students, my friends, and potential students that are watching this. We had a terrible 2020, so I hope that 2021 is going to be at least a little bit better in terms of COVID. The golf school is one of those places where people feel safe. The golf school is doing very, very well. We've had a lot of students. They feel comfortable out on the tee. Everybody's, definitely social distancing. When we do the video analysis, once we go inside, we wear masks at all the times. And so in terms of COVID, I'm happy to report that nobody that's been to golf school has, after they left golf school, tested positive for COVID. Today's golf tip, I want to talk about something I've covered in the past in part. So I've talked about course management in the past, I've talked about pre-shot routine in the past, but I don't think a lot of amateurs don't realize just how important those two things really are, the course management. And I have a student of mine that I work with on a fairly regular basis. He started with me about 4 years ago. He was about a 30 handicap. He's now down to about a 9 or an 8. So he said to me the other day, how do I get to a 4 handicap? Because I had mentioned, I said, I think you're capable of getting down to about a 4 handicap. And he said, well, how do I get there? I said, by stop thinking like a 9 handicap. Start thinking like a 4 handicap. I said, when we go out on the course, when I do a playing lesson, I said, even though we've spoken about pre-shot routine, on the course when you're playing, you don't really go through the pre-shot routine. You do sometimes. When I'm watching, you go through the routine. I'm sure when you're not playing with me, there's even less of that. Watch the PGA, LPGA, European Tour players. Their pre-shot routine is identical every single time. So you want to create, and as I said, you can go on my website, top right hand corner is a little search field. You can just type in pre-shot routine. You'll come up with some tips that we talk about pre-shot routine. But I want you to start thinking, when you're on the golf course playing, you've got to be focused for 18 holes. How many times have people said to me, I played really well on the front 9 and I played badly on the back 9, or vice versa, I played really badly on the front 9 and then I played well on the back 9. That's to do with focus. You start off and you focused and you concentrate and you feel like you're playing well, and then you lose your concentration on the back 9 because you think, oh well, I'm playing well now. You take shots for granted, and one bad shot and gets in here, and then you struggle for the rest of the 9. Or you start off with the first hole playing badly and then you're playing catch up the whole way around, trying to figure out what you're doing. So you want to focus on each and every shot. You want to stand behind the ball and you want to decide every shot that you hit. You want to decide, where do I want to hit this shot? Where's the trouble? What's my tendencies? If your tendency is to hook and the trouble's on the left, if you're a right-handed golfer, then you want to aim a little bit more right. If vice versa, if you're a slicer, you want to aim a little bit more left. You've got to take that into account, that you might hit a bad shot and then you want to take that trouble out of play. So if I have a tendency to, and with my driver recently, because I've been working on a baby fade in my drive, sometimes I'll leave the club face open a little bit too long and it'll fade more than I wanted, or it'll start off straight down the middle and then fade the amount I wanted, but it'll miss the fairway. If there's trouble on the right, I want to make sure I'm aiming well to the left. So if the ball goes straight, I'm okay. And if I leave the club face a little open and it starts off straight and then fades, I'm still going to end up on the fairway. Let that be your New Year promise to yourself, is that you're going to focus on every single shot when you're playing. Don't get wrapped up in what your friend's doing, or how the match is going or whatever. Stay on each shot. And many years ago, I played a practice round with Gary Player, and I learned so much watching him just do a practice round before a tournament, because he'd be talking to me as we walked down the fairway, you know, where he went for dinner that night, you know, what the restaurant was, what his son is doing, you know, just normal chatter. But he'd get about 10 to 15 yards short of where his ball was, and he would just stop the conversation. His eyes would go on the green. He'd walk up, he'd look at the green, he'd make his decision, he'd take a club, he'd hit the shot, he'd put the club back in the bag, and he'd just pick up the conversation right where he left off. He had the ability to switch his focus on and off at will, because nobody can concentrate totally for 4.5 hours that it takes us to play a round of golf. So you've got to learn to switch it on and off. So you can chat to your friends, you can have a good time, but when you get close to your ball, stop talking, look at your position, and decide exactly what club and what shot you're going to play that's going to bring you the greatest success. Put that into your golf game this year, and without changing your game, without changing your swing, you are going to change your scores. And isn't that what all of us are trying to do? So make that your promise. I am going to focus on every single shot. Good luck in 2021.